What's up, guys? Welcome back to Conservative Mindset. Let's get right into today's video. I got this interesting clip from Kristen Hawkins, I believe is how you say her name. She's having this debate with this pro-choice student, and she absolutely just demolishes her with logic. The girl can't even understand what's going on, honestly. But let's watch it together, and then we'll react to it, and then talk about it in the comment section.
Great questions, by the way. Great job.
So I came here to kind of hear your side. I mean, it was not a full, like, yay, I'm excited to hear someone try to take away my rights as a woman. But it was more like I wanted to hear what you had to say. And I agree with one thing I can name, which is like increasing parent, like paternity leave or whatever. So, or maternity or whatever it is. And so one thing I do want to say to the audience is if I came here with no knowledge on abortion, you would have convinced me because of all your fear tactics and all of your like, let's bring out the gore. Let's talk about like killing babies with a puncture. Oh, it was gory though. So
I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever watched any of Kristen's video. I hope that's how you say her name. But she always demonstrates how an abortion goes. And that's what this woman is talking about here is, you know, her demonstration was gory. But she doesn't go above and beyond on what actually happens during an abortion. So the fact that this, you know, pro-choice woman sees this as being gory demonstrates the fact that she sees it being wrong and evil and destructive. Anything that you categorize as being gore is in nature destructive. And that's exactly what she basically admitted to by describing the demonstration as gore. If the demonstration is gore itself, then abortion, the act of it itself is gore.
What I wanted to say though was I encourage everyone in this audience to actually realize like what it means to have bodily autonomy, to be pro-choice, which is not pro-abortion. It's pro-choose. No, yeah, I'm getting that. It's pro-choosing the right to have an abortion if you feel that's necessary. So I want to ask the question, what makes you qualified to tell everyone here that abortion is so bad and it should be illegal when in reality, are you a scientist? Are you an OBGYN? Do you have any kind of degree that makes it so like we should be listening to you because you're, oh my gosh, you're this figure that is so correct on all these issues. Like I want to hear what you have to say about like your background that makes this. Yeah.
Well, it's actually simple.
Well, let me quickly interject before she answers that. What qualifications does this woman have to advocate for abortion? If you're saying to be pro-life, you need to have some type of scientific credential or background, then that should be the same for the opposite. If we quote unquote can't be pro-life because I'm not a scientist, then you can't be pro-choice because you're not a scientist. That's being logically consistent. If I can't determine that being pro-life and that being, you know, or knowing that the baby, the fetus is a human being, if I need to have some type of scientific background, a science degree to determine that, then you also have to have a scientific background, degree, some type of experience to also determine that it's not viable, that it's not a fetus, that it's not a baby. That's being logically consistent. So that is a horrible argument from the pro-choice side, saying that we need to have some type of credentials to be able to say that abortions are wrong. And you can also go into the example of slavery. Majority of white people believe slavery is bad, but they don't have to be black to determine that the slavery that happened to African Americans in America was bad. You don't have to be black to determine that. You don't have to have a black background or experience. You just have to be a human being and have some type of, you know, compassion and be actually conscious and realize that killing any group of people, whether they're humans, whether they're babies or adults or black or white, is just wrong. I mean, it's really black and white. It's not a hard debate. Let's keep going. Let's see what Kristen has to say to that response.
Because abortion is a black and white issue. You don't
I
have
just
to
said
be
that.
an OBGYN. You don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be a scientist to read biology books and to Google when human life begins and to know innately that all human life is equally valuable. And when you start to disregard certain human beings because they're inconvenient to you or you see them as your property to dispose of how you see fit, the disastrous results we've seen throughout human history.
Right.
Though, as a counter to that, I wanted to say I noticed a lot of your sources you seem to Google, so that kind of goes into my topic of like what makes you qualified to talk.
Listen, these people are dumb. Google is not a source. Google is a database of sources. You don't use Google to nobody that has any knowledge of any research is going to use Google as a source. Google is a database. It's a database. It's like doing research and using the computer as your source. No, the computer is not the source. What the information inside of the computer is the source. Who was the research written by? What university? What researcher? Whatever. That's the source. And Google holds that in one place for you to access. These people know these things, but they just dumb. They just want to have an argument just to have an argument. Google is not a source. You know that. She knows that. It is a database. Just say a library. Google is a library. It's an internet library. You can find whatever you want on there. That's why she uses it as source, because you can go find books and research and data to back what she's saying.
About this
Yeah,
if you Googled it.
I say
like, everything on the news is accurate,
all of
I
my
guess.
sources are Googleable because you don't trust what I have to say. So when I talk about, oh, that's Huffington Post, go to Huffington Post.
Exactly.
Google who has better sex. Married people who are religious. If you want to know the medical studies that I cited, go to pubnet.gov. They're there. If you want to know what a fetus is, go to Google because dictionary.com pops right up and tells you a fetus is a human being and a member of our species. But it's actually very simple in the pro-life movement. Because what is abortion? What does it do? What does abortion do, ma'am?
It allows women to have the right to choose to move on with their lives and not have to
What happens during an abortion?
have a baby.
What happens during an abortion?
A clump of cells is taken out of the woman's body.
Does a clump of cells have a beating heart?
A bunch of euphemisms.
Well, I'm not a scientist, so honestly, what I will say...
Google it!
Yeah, okay, so everything on the internet is correct? I'm confused as to... This is sarcasm, by the way.
Ask any abortionist. Ask any abortionist.
Okay.
Ask any abortionist if the fetus they dismembered or they sucked out of existence or they induced a heart attack had a beating heart. They will tell you.
Induced a heart attack? You can't induce a heart attack on something that doesn't have a beating heart. That alone should have answered that lady, that woman's question. They know that they induced a heart attack during an abortion. So yeah, it must have a beating heart. Make this make sense.
Yes.
Okay, but did they have a conscience? Did they have a mental brain that was fully formed? And
So
could make
you-
Okay,
decisions?
I'm sorry, I keep stopping because I want to interject and give my take on these questions as well. A consciousness is not a liable argument as well, because consciousness is almost like saying memory. She's saying, well, do you have memory of your experiences as a fetus, as a baby? No, you don't. You don't have memory of yourself in the womb. You don't have memory of yourself as a 1-year-old, as a 9-month-old, because to them it's viable outside of the womb. So at 1 month old, the baby is quote unquote conscious to them, but you don't remember that consciousness. So how do you know if you were conscious or not? So you can't use that. You cannot use that. I barely remember what was going on when I was 5 years old. Was I conscious? I mean, I'm sure I was. Duh, I was. But just because I don't remember being a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, or a fetus, you might have had memory within the womb. But you can't remember that. Neither can you remember outside of the womb at 1 year old.
So your position on abortion then is you're okay with abortion because of conscience. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm okay with abortion because women have the right to choose whether or not they want to have a baby.
Jesus Christ.
But do you agree that abortion kills a human being?
I don't agree that there's any kind of murder in the
Does it
dictionary
end the life of a human being?
It ends the life of cells. It does not end the life of a Yeah, okay, so you're
Everything is a cell. You're a cell. I'm a cell. This plant in front of me is a cell. Everything is a cell. We're all clumps of cells. You think you know what you're talking about, but you don't. Every living being, every living plant, anything that has life is a cell.
a clump of cells that has been developed over time. But once you leave the vagina, then you're a conscious human.
So you're okay
How do you
with
know?
abortion.
How do you know?
So if I'm pregnant, I'm 9 months pregnant, my husband leaves me, I lose my job, and I say, I can't have this baby right now. You're okay at 9 months before the baby leaves my vagina, the abortionist goes in, induces a heart attack, and kills that baby. You have seen nothing like that.
Personally, I cannot speak to every pro-choice person, but personally, 9 months is late enough. However,
Oh, really?
I still believe, like,
Why is abortion to you wrong at 9 months? Why are you personally against
because
abortion at 9 months?
the fetus is about to come out of the vagina, and it's going to become an actual human. It's like almost fully formed. Almost.
Okay, first of all, we
my
know
God.
a child is fully formed way before 9 months because have you
But is
have
it
you ever
ready to come
seen
out?
a child who's born premature at 25 weeks? They're not malformed, right?
Sometimes they are. Sometimes they have like missing limbs. And
Well, that's
different things.
genetic.
They would have had a
But
missing limb
you
at
know,
9
like
months.
when I had the ultrasound of my child, my 4D ultrasound of my daughter, I wanted to get pictures of what she looked like at 25 weeks. She was fully formed inside of my womb. She didn't just like there's not a magical thing in the birth canal. You're like, oh, now as a human being. That's location. Your humanity can't depend on your location. 2 inches of the birth canal doesn't change you don't magically become a human being because you pass through a woman's birth canal. Because guess what? 2 of my kids never passed through my birth canal. I delivered C-section. Were they not human beings?
Exactly.
Next question.
Demolished. Get the hell off the stage. Yeah. Wave your hands goodbye. Next. 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 But as you guys know, I always bring comments. Let's look at them, read them together, and see what we got. So the first comment says, a clump of cells is taken out of the woman's body. Name one living thing that isn't a clump of cells. I will wait. So will I. Don't hold your breath, though. Next comment says, abortion has never been about choice. It's about escaping the consequence of your choice by taking away all choices from someone else. Ding, 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 ding. Next comment says, she calls the whole audience gullible and uneducated, but she doesn't know if a fetus has a heartbeat. Next comment says, does it have a fully formed brain? Nobody has a fully formed brain till they're 25. Facts. Next comment says, you didn't have to bring out the gore. Abortion is by definition gore. That was the first thing I said in the beginning. She admitted to it being gore. Next comment says, Kristen is hardly even arguing. She's just asking clarifying questions and letting this girl's flawed logic show itself until everybody else sees it. Facts. I think that's the last comment. Yep, last comment there. All right, guys, I don't want to make this video any longer than it is. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoy the content. Of course, if you do, please hit that like button. And if this is your first time on the channel, hit the subscribe button with the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. Thanks for being here, guys. See you guys on the next video. Peace.